Yo, it's your boy, Let 'em know Zoe, back with another video. Today, I want to talk about passport bros. Now, I've been noticing that the passport bros have been receiving a lot of attention lately from all types of people. They've been getting praise. They've been getting, I think you could say, idolized almost. But as well as both of those things, they've also been getting some hate. And that hate seems to be coming primarily from American women. Now, I don't really think that those negative emotions are really warranted towards the passport bros. Because literally it's just American men traveling all over the world and seeing what it's like outside of the States. And I don't really see what there is to hate about that or to be angry about. But it seems like a lot of people have their different ideas about the passport bros movement, if you want to call it that. There was actually a so-called passport bro by the name of Austin Holloman, who actually made national news in the United States for, I guess you could say, his escapades in Brazil. I find it kind of funny, actually, how he seems to be garnering, and not even just him, but just passport bros in general, seem to be garnering so much negative attention. And I don't really think that it makes sense, honestly. So here is the truth about the passport bros, in my opinion. Now, one thing I know to be true about the passport bros is that American men are going abroad to kind of scope out the dating scene in other countries. The main reason for that seems to be that in the United States, the dating world just seems to be kind of strange. I might even say upside down. It seems like every woman seems to have some sort of unrealistic expectations for a man. Like, one thing I've heard is the so-called 666 rule. A man needs to be at least 6 feet tall. He needs to be making 6 figures, and he needs to have 6 inches, if you know what I'm saying. So, two of those things don't really seem, too bad, but the one that does kind of stick out to me, the whole 6 figures expectation, that's a lot of money, and that's honestly a very small percentage of American men, and not even just American men, but men worldwide. Because 6 figures, that's at least $100,000 a year. That's a lot of money. Like, no matter who you ask, they would say that $100,000 is a lot of money to be earning in a year. So that is just one of the things that kind of is making men get turned off from women here in the States, because it's like you have all these expectations, but if you even could get that, what do you bring to the table? Like, what even makes you eligible for such a man, like, with such outstanding stats? Like, that's crazy. Yeah, so another thing about the passport bros movement is that not only are American men traveling abroad to see what it's like dating outside of the United States, but also the United States dollar goes very far in other countries. Now, if you know anything about exchange rates, you know that a certain quantity of money in one country can very easily change in another country. So, for example, um, the United States dollar, I believe, is about 5 times its worth down in, for example, Brazil. So, if you have $100 here in America, and you take that same 100 American dollars and you go down to Brazil, if I'm not mistaken, it would actually have the value of $500 of the local currency in Brazil. It's not called dollars down there, but yeah, basically what it is that I'm sorry, the United States dollar has a very it goes a very long way when you travel abroad, because the United States is possibly the world's richest country. If it's not number one, then it's definitely up there, like definitely top 10. But if I do believe it may be number one. But because of that, the money here goes a very long way in foreign countries. So you really don't even need much if you're going to travel to somewhere like, say, one example I just mentioned was Brazil. You go anywhere in the Caribbean, your American money is going a long way. Latin America, Canada, and just many, many other places. Very, very many African countries and just things of that sort. So yeah, it's almost like, honestly, as an American, if you have like a decent sort of income and you leave the country and you take that money somewhere else, it's almost like you're borderline rich, and that's real interesting because you can really get a lot more bang for your buck if you take your money out of the United States and you go and spend it elsewhere. You'll see that it'll go a really long way. So another thing that's true about the Passport Bros is that they are kind of trying to broaden their perspectives. They want to kind of get a more informed view of what it's like just in general, to kind of be outside of the United States, to live life in foreign countries, just to kind of gauge the overall experience. Because when you're more well traveled, you kind of have a different perspective on things as opposed to somebody who has been residing strictly in the country of their birth their entire life. Their perspectives on things can be somewhat skewed because they really only know one way of life. They have nothing to compare it to. They have no other people to sort of bounce their ideas off of or like exchange ideas, because all they know is American life. So when you travel to different countries and you see how other people live and you explore the cultures of foreign nations, you kind of get a different idea of what it means to be American. You kind of understand that some things that you experience normally you would take for granted because they're not common in other places, in other countries. And it really just helps you kind of expand your horizons and really think about things in a different way. It can make you more grateful for things that you do have. It can give you a better understanding of how other people live and why they do what they do, and things that you may have found strange as an American who has been living in the States their entire life may become more clear to you in different kinds of ways because you are exploring different lifestyles and perspectives and learning from people who are different than you, which can be a very positive thing overall. One more thing that I know to be true about the Passport Bros movement is that it can really challenge your beliefs, to go out of your home country, to leave your comfort zone, and learn things that you otherwise would not have learned if you stayed in your uh, country. Um, Basically, what that means is that things that you thought to be true, things that you thought that nobody would ever question you on, like honestly, once you leave the country, once you go to a foreign environment, everything is up for debate because it's a given that once you leave your home country, everybody is not going to think like you. As a matter of fact, you could probably bet on the exact opposite. Everybody is not going to think like you wherever you go because everybody's individual experience is different. So things that you thought were unquestionable, other people in foreign nations are gonna kind of look at what you're talking about and be like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, we don't believe like that out here. We don't do that out here. Like, oh, you do this and this at home in America. Oh, that's crazy. We don't do that here. Like, you just have so many different people and perspectives to kind of learn from, and I think that's a really really important thing that we should all make an effort to do is branch out, get out of our comfort zones, and kind of make an effort to meet people who are different from us because the more well traveled you are, the more you can really look at things in a well informed way because you're not looking at them from a sort of one sided perspective, if that makes sense. And lastly, one thing I know, like the last thing I know to be true about the passport bros is that in addition to dating and women, because that's of course like that's an important part of life, dating, but that's not all it's about. Um, American men who are traveling outside of the United States are really just trying to compare American life to life anywhere else you go. Because, like I've said before, uh, everybody doesn't live the same type of way, everybody doesn't believe the same types of things. So, it can really be eye opening to kind of experience a change of pace and see how different groups of people do things around the world, how they think as a country, as a collective, their culture, their religions, their customs, their languages. There's a plethora of things to learn by traveling outside of the immediate environment that you're familiar with. So I just think it's really important to kind of check out different perspectives, learn from different people, and just experience new things in life because living life one way forever can be very boring, and honestly it can kind of put blinders on your eyes to different types of situations, and when you have tunnel vision it can be kind of detrimental, honestly, because when you get stuck in one kind of train of thought, it kind of skews your views and your opinions on different things, and the more informed you are, the better quality of life you can live, honestly. So these have been a few things that I know to be true about the passport bros, because all the negativity that they get, I really don't think it's necessary. It's just men traveling around the world, seeing different things, experiencing new people and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with experiencing something new. So, see your boy, let him know Zoe. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'm out.